Welcome, everybody, to Mudflood Was Armageddon. The Mudflood was the Armageddon. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they are willing to debate you in a fair and honest way. Gold. It was what people wanted. Gold covered the altar of God Most High. Gold and water add electric spark of life. That's conjecture. When the apostles cast out demons, did they also cast a railing accusation against Satan? I know that that's prohibited somewhere. Are these accounts of people like Martin Luther throwing an inkwell at Satan? No, wait, he wasn't good at throwing ink. He threw inkwell. He allegedly threw an inkwell at Satan when Satan was bothering him. An inkwell was something that they used before the short season. Those pens that had the feathers on them and they would dip it in there. They used that in the 1900s in schools. So what do we do with the people that just, cast out demons, bind Satan, do this and that? It all seems kind of fake. So we've got a lot to go over. I wanted to get just this documented. I document my days and my time. Why am I Alamosa? Why am I here at university? Well, I was going to be in San Juan anyway because we know something was coming. Another reset, economics, fiat money. I'm going to get into some conspiracies tonight that they had in the Bible. We're living it right now. The storms were going to bankrupt the United States. We were prepared for that. I didn't see the drone thing coming. I knew there was going to be a lot of hassles and stuff. Thank you for sending that thing about Alamosa, Zach. I used it, and it's something to think about. I'm here because this is a safe place. I go to this university because I understand now the Most High God wants me to expose the militant lesbians that are here. I went to the cops today. Remember, the VA and Adams State both want me to file charges against each other and see where's the money that I paid them. So I went to the cops today and I go like, I know the chief, and I go, they want me to file charges. And I don't, I want to file it against this guy. And he goes, you're not filing charges against anybody. He goes like, Alan, you're talking about a civil case. You got to go to Judge Judy with that kind of stuff. He goes, call me back when there's been a crime. So I'm right back at square zero. Square one. Let's look at the disclaimer. Move my computer around today. Disclaimer me. Doggone it. So there's a disclaimer, fair use disclaimer. I'm not stealing money for anybody's intellectual property. I am going to be giving medical advice, financial advice, but don't you take it. Don't you take it unless you realize you're talking to somebody that, hey, in times, it's the mud flood was Armageddon. And then go check with your regular doctor. Don't laugh at them. Take them serious. They mean it. Now let's look at it. So we looked at these, right? We didn't look at this one. We're going to look at a little bit of, men are the bad people in our culture. Tabloids would have us, the history is that there was a lot of women picking who would be the men leaders. And there needs to be a little bit of a study about what's up with all of these presidents and emperors around the world that married a younger woman and died and left all their money. And even the robber barons and the rich people, and it's just something. Hey, do you like that? I like that. So I did this cut. You know what would be nice is if we wouldn't personalize it. Joe Biden is a tool. Joe Biden couldn't plan this in 1,000,000 years. That's almost like an eternity to a human. Joe Biden didn't lose the 500,000. This is the mafia's running the world order, and he's not the guy. And neither is Zelensky. And we can't personalize it. It's the world against us. It's not like, oh my gosh, if we just got rid of Joe. Really, Joe Biden put himself in power? He didn't. He didn't. Let's stop that. Your spirit comes into the egg as soon as it is fertilized. That's a good reminder. I'm glad that reminder is going out right now. That light of creation, that's what you are. Why couldn't it be exhibited? That's what I wanted to know when I was, and I thought I'd screenshot it. That's what I like to do. And I see something, I'll screenshot it and ask you guys, what's up? Improper use of temple of music was guarded against in selling it. So don't you try to misuse it. It is provided in the contract, explicitly stated, of the Pan American Exposition Company with the Chicago House Wrecking Company that the temple of music or any part of it shall not be sold or used for exhibition purposes. No. We're going to keep that Mudflood Tartarian antique architecture hidden. And that was said by, don't exhibit it, it was said by John G. Milborn, president of the Pan American Exposition Company. They lost their shirt, from what I understand. They didn't make a penny, referring to the talk that the building wherein President McKinley was shot would be rebuilt at the Louisiana Purchase Exposition. If anyone should persist in an effort to take the Temple of Music to St. Louis, the takeaway along with the weirdness of this is, they could say, oh, those buildings are gone in some places. Well, when Solomon contracted with King Hiram, this building went up without the sound of a hammer. It was so perfect. So they could take them apart, put them back together. If they knew what they do, vibrate them, get them, shake them loose, and unstack them. Who knows? But if anyone should persist in an effort to take the Temple of Music to St. Louis, I personally will ask President Francis of the Louisiana Exposition not to permit it. So they can move it. It's very probable that nothing more will be heard of the proposed plan to rebuild the Temple of Music at St. Louis. Mr. Milburn is strongly approved to it. It is one of the last of the Pan American buildings to go. You got to go somewhere. You don't tell me it was, they left a few, but the other ones were plaster. Wherever they quit passing them around is where they are today. You don't just throw away that kind of stones. So here it's a Pan American weekend, and they're going to talk about, this is where I got that screenshot. They were showing all of this. This is a reputable, only people from the Buffalo History Museum watch it, and they all subscribe. So that's a picture of the demolition, the Triumphal Bridge from the Lincoln Parkway. They tore it down. They didn't move it. It's not still standing where they ended up moving it. Again, so this is the they're showing the destruction of it. multiple months after the exposition, they were taking it down. So they're working on taking down the tower here. Now, this is the next sentence. I think we can see the time. 146, 141. Here's the electric tower being demolished. Here's the electric tower. They show it a couple seconds later. So that's marble and stone, but they're saying, oh no, it's just plaster and lath and junky, just falling apart. They're taken down. It was demolished in August, and then so I thought there'd be a timestamp in here. How could it have happened before 70 AD? And also, I would still appreciate it if they would quit calling what they believe in, because they dismiss this idea. They're all about the added 1,000 years, and of course Satan is loose, but they're calling it preterist and postmillennialism still. Everyone should have a problem with that. Do you believe the saints reign physically or spiritually only? I guess those are questions. Wow. So that's supposed to be a real picture of him. Okay. That's not somebody that made him up to look spooky and some of the mascara bled into his eye or something. I mean, and supposedly all the queens of Russia, their daughters fell in love with this mad sex pervert. Makes you wonder what's up with history. This is. Saw another guy with just, a couple hundred subscribers, got 2,000 on this, but he was talking about what's the competitive advantage of something. Everybody's looking for it, I guess. We're still on the pictures and we're having a great time. Competitive advantage may include access to natural resources. That would be competitive advantage, such as high-grade ores or a low-cost power source, like a river back in the day, or lithium batteries here. Hey. Un momento, I got a phone call. RJ. Hey, hey man, I'm on the air. You want to? I didn't hear back from you, so I put a link in the thing, but I didn't send you an email.
Yeah, my computer is trying to reboot it right now, and I don't know how far you are here.
Just started. I started at 9:30 to going over everything late. Let me get back to the.
Okay, well, give me a few minutes. I'll see if I can connect.
Now there's the good news. RJ is going to be joining us, and it's shortly. He's had to reboot his computer, so he'll help me work through these things. We're going to get to the bottom of it. We might even talk about those drones, and there's a difference, people, between the drones and the orbs. And the size of the drones they're describing are usually flown by mercenaries or people in the military from a distance, where they just got it's like flying a plane, but they're good at it, so it's top secret. How about those pictures, man? Competitive advantage. Think about it. Is that part of your life? What is social speciation? How do you become part of a species? The creation and or separation, distinction of a new social body with a new common locus of attention. Distinctiveness through a new locus of personal relationships. new borders, new boundaries, new psychotechnology. All right. If anybody knows what a psychotechnology is, what does speciation occur in the human social realm? They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would have continued with us. This is what John was writing about to Gaius, or this was one to the sisters. I think Gaius. Maybe we should look at it. So they went out from us, that they might be manifest that none of them were on the narrow road. Wow. Shocking. That's from yesterday. I just think that's crazy that the world, this is making it on the news. Oh my goodness. That's just crazy. So, what about this Bible verse? Have you ever heard it? Let's see what we can get here. Bind up the testimony, seal the teachings among my disciples. That's Isaiah chapter 8, verse 16. I'll continue. I will wait for the Lord who is hiding his face from the house of Jacob, and I will hope in him. Behold, I and the children whom the Lord has given me are signs and portents in Israel from the Lord of hosts who dwells on Mount Zion. And when they say to you, inquire of the mediums and the necromancers who chirp and mutter, should not a people inquire of their God? Should they not inquire? Well, excuse me. Should they inquire of the dead on behalf of the living? To the teaching and to the testimony, if they will not speak according to this world, it is because they have no dawn. They will pass through the land greatly distressed and hungry, and when they are hungry, they will be enraged and speak contemptuously against their king and their God, and turn their faces upward. And they will look to the earth, but behold, distress and darkness, the gloom of anguish, and they will be thrust into thick darkness. Wow. Wow. You know what? Let's go back to verse 9. Be broken, you people, and be shattered. Give ear, all you far countries. Strap on your armor and be shattered. Strap on your armor and be shattered. Take counsel together, but it will come to nothing. Speak a word, but it will not stand, for God is with us. For the Lord spoke thus to me with his strong hand upon me, and warned me not to walk in the way of this people, saying, do not call conspiracy all that this people calls conspiracy, and do not fear what they fear, nor be in dread. Wow. So, I mean, if there's a conspiracy to try to convince people that the answer to every problem in the world is that men are too masculine and maybe they should start sneaking estrogen mimickers into the food and the medicines, that's a stretch. That's a conspiracy. But this verse proves there's conspiracies. So, okay, they laid their hands on her. They laid their hands on her, and she went into the entrance of the horse gate of the king's house, and they put her to death there. Okay, that's the context for Second Chronicles chapter 23, starting in verse 16. There's your context. And yes, there was a woman queen of Israel. Oh, and yeah, this is her getting put to death. And Jehoiada made a covenant between himself and all the people and the king that they should be the Lord's people. Then all the people went to the house of Baal and tore it down, doobie doo down, down, they tore it, comma, down, doobie. His altars and his images they broke in pieces. And they killed Matan, the priest of Baal, before the altars. This was me. This is probably where the Freemasons think, you know what, we should just make covenants and kill people. They don't read the Bible right. This is God, very specific thing. The woman is queen. They're not doing it to mount up ISIS and the Thula Society and whatnot. Tore down all the altars, 18. And Jehoiada posted watchmen for the house of the Lord under the direction of the Levitical priests and the Levites whom David had organized to be in charge of the house of the Lord, to offer burnt offerings to the Lord, as it is written in the law of Moses, with rejoicing and with singing according to the order of David. Station the gatekeepers at the gates of the house. He stationed the gatekeepers at the gates of the house of the Lord, so that no one should enter who was in any way unclean. And he took the captains, the nobles, and we know from the pictures who they were, what they looked like, and the governors of the people and all the peoples of the land, and they brought the king down to the house of the Lord, marching through the upper gates of the king's house. Wow. And they set the king on the royal throne. So all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was quiet after Athaliah had been put to death with the sword. She was not happy in verse 18 or 15 there. Here's the way it went down. These people here, every man with his weapon from the south side of the house to the north side of the house, around the altar of the Lord. Then they brought out the king's son, and they proclaimed, after putting a crown on him and giving a testimony, they proclaimed him king, and Jehoiada and his sons anointed him, and they said, "Long live the king." When the queen heard the noise of the people running and praising the king, she went into the house of the Lord. Okay, well, the girl that made the Baal temples? And when she looked, there was the king standing by his pillar at the entrance, and the captains and the trumpeters beside the king, and all the people of the land rejoicing and blowing trumpets, and the singers. They're all getting ready to do whatever they have planned with their musical instruments, leading in the celebration. And Athaliah tore her clothes and cried, "Treason! Treason!" Then Jehoiada and the priest brought out the captains who were set over the army, saying to them, "Bring her out between the ranks, and anyone who follows her is to be put to death." For the priest said, "Do not put her to death in the house of the Lord." Treason. That's kind of a rare word. We should look at it. Treason. What is it? 9 times? Kasar. It's the same thing. Treason, conspiracy. Oh, she was on to them, going like, no way could this have happened by itself. This was an alliance, a conspiracy. And if you don't believe in conspiracies, you're completely out of your mind. Ezekiel 22, verse 24. it starts off saying, Son of man, say to her, you are a land that is not cleansed or rained on in the day of indignation. Let's pick it up in verse 25. So you are a land not cleansed or rained on in the day of indignation. No, even now, YouTube is going to mess around. Oh, well, it only took 5 or 6 seconds before you popped on, RJ.
Right.
That took longer than I thought.
I've been messing with it for over a half an hour before
Wow.
I called you, but it was still a work in progress.
I already broke the news that I did go to the cops today. I said, Adams.
I got your text.
Yep, and
They said you told a Judge Judy.
Yeah, he's goes, look, man, call me back when there's been a crime. I feel like, but no, call me back later. All right, so we were reading some scripture. I'm just going to finish it up.
So you didn't get that in writing; it was verbally.
I had to call them because I'm there. Like, I was going to schedule a time to go. So.
And you didn't record the phone call.
No, I should have though. Zach Macanudo checked in, but he's around there. He's a Colorado cowboy. Yeah. Conspiracy. I've been looking at conspiracies. What was it again? 22, verse 24. Son of man, say to her, you are a land that is not cleansed or rained upon in the day of indignation. The conspiracy of her prophets, what? In her midst is like a roaring lion tearing the prey. They have devoured human lives. They have taken treasures and precious things. They have made many widows in her midst. Hey, that's no good. What in the world? We looked at a couple of other conspiracies. One where the queen, Athelia, gets overthrown by a Jehoiada and his sons, and she's going, it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. Yep. Well, yeah, it was a conspiracy of the people of the Lord finally taking back their country. So I made the point. Both sides make conspiracies, man. So it doesn't make any sense.
When you have the greed and the coveting combined, it can get really messy.
Yeah, and who's that person out there that's going to, drop a line in the chat? I'm glad I've never had any greed or coveting. That's one of the Apostle Paul says coveting is the one that woke him up, going like, oh, wow, I am a lawbreaker big time, because he must have been coveting something. Lions tearing the prey. See what we got here. I looked up something. Oh, girls poison. Girls poison, RJ. Did you know that? But nobody nowadays, because men are all the problem. Men are the reason that things were all bad.
Yeah, so where the women are driven to do what they do. Yeah, there you go.
They've had the women's liberation now, and there's more graduates going to college, and there's still a glass ceiling somewhere, but there's a lot of these women, there's an argument that they poisoned them way into power. Oh, you're not going to go along with it? Well, then I'll just kill you, take your house and your money. There's a lot of girls that did that. I'm not saying all girls do that. No way. But they do have this if they ever need to fall back on it. The people back in the Greek days and all the way in the Rome days, it's the same thing. And even into the United States, there was always husbands that needed to be bumped off. Got to bump them off, man. And I'm just saying, Men are bad, women are bad, we are equal. But you don't hear anything except men have picked on women for so long, it's time for a little payback.
Yeah, it probably has about the same effect as a 10 stake through the melon, but yeah.
So anyway, here it goes. In 1633 was the revival of the poisoners, all leading up to the you know what, 1711 loosening of Satan. That's what the Gregorian calendar. It's the loosening of Satan was 1666 in the Julian calendar, but the rest of the Julian calendar is pretty much a mystery. It's a mystery, RJ. We're not going to figure it out. We give up. I give up.
Yeah, that's a detail that's, yeah.
I guess this
arbitrary.
was a popular book put out last year.
League of
Sumptuously
Ladies
illustrated,
Poison.
introduce you to some of the most infamous women. They didn't think they were getting enough publicity about, hey, I'm sick of all these mass murders being men, damn it. So Lisa and Holly are going to set them straight. Don't these get bigger? Sumptuous.
Fun facts to know and tell, eh?
Who knows? There's the book. That seemed crazy. Hey, RJ, hold
Yep.
on to your hat. This still goes on today. This is the way they brought it over from the Middle Ages and said, we're so powerful, this is how it has to be.
So does
Wow.
that have something to do with that there's nothing new under the sun, or what?
Something to do with this girl got dead, and so they're burying her body in one place, but her heart in the other place. And this is the show for the people when this royal died. She's just a shirt tail royal. Are you kidding me? Where is the volume on the sound?
Well, they just clear the top of that grating there where that, well, I don't know, fenced in doorway by the header.
Give you uno momento.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I heard that. I don't know why the video didn't play. We're in trouble.
Well, you need closed caption. Well, you have closed caption there, so, but it must be mute. Okay. Krypton.
So anyway, her heart, did you see that?
Yeah, stays in
It's more
Switzerland.
dramatic that if he says it, but I'll read it. Go. Centuries, their rise. This is the Habsburg. Politics was the main ideal, which is why the Habsburg became successful. It was Felix, this girl's going to die, so to speak, founders of the dynasty. However, they were not originally Austrian. Oh no. The family history began on the Rhine River, most likely in some town, and the Habsburg at that time were going to take over as much as possible of the minor landowning nobles. Okay, we got this figured out. It's Germany. From the 10th century, RJ, that's all made up. That Middle Age add the 1,000 years ago. We don't know.
Well, the dates or the story itself?
We got
The
the heart. We got the buried hearts, man. We got the bodies in one place, the hearts in the other. And there's still, this just happened. This girl didn't die that long ago, man. I'm the worst at reading sometimes. That's a nice Mudflood house. The good view.
Yeah, it's been there a while.
No volume. Based on the Arno, the part of the northern Switzerland. So again, the Swiss banking again with the Germans and the were seen for a long time as the bad guys. Well, I wonder why in Swiss history, but today we look at it as a little bit more relaxed way.
Well, if you
What
could
in
only
the
trust,
world? Look at that, these rocks, and then
what happened to them?
they got
Or at
what
least
they
the
got.
ones
They
on the bottom.
somebody looked at them in a relaxed way. Those are body parts of the Titans, everyone. But there's just not what that show's about. They were looked at in a bit more of a relaxed way from here in Germany. As they were just a low-ranking nobility that had all this cool stuff, and then the world empire came knocking on what they thought was heaven's door, but no, it was not. This is why I do all that fair use stuff. So this is a more modern. This is they got to bury your heart at Wounded Knee, but not Wounded Knee in Switzerland. So
Oh, April Fool's Day.
yeah,
Yeah,
1989,
yeah.
the old national anthem in Vienna. So they bury him in different places. They had to take her body
Quite the parade.
with the Habsburg monarchies, or yeah, they broke out the old carriage for the glamour. After the mass of the procession, they moved slowly through Vienna. And then they cut to this scene.
Knocking
Well,
on
it
the
looks like
door.
it's kind of a gloomy day. It's a sad day for a funeral. Keep the cardinal dry.
Lots of umbrellas, yeah.
He's gonna wrap the door with his walking stick. Bang, bang. And he says, "Who desires to enter this chamber?" Zeta, the Kaiser of Australia, crowned queen of Hungary. Okay, so this was not a low-ranking noble that getting her heart ripped and buried in. Okay, this was the queen in '89. This is how she got
Queen of
buried.
Bohemia.
Yeah, same rules, same Habsburg, same thing. They're the ones that made it. They're the ones that survived World War II, and they are the bad guys. They are the Rome proper uppers. They're the ones that teach them how to kill your husband's not obeying you. Here's how you poison his ass. She wants to get in. Can we enter? They have to do this.
So who's the keeper of the door?
That other guy? They're just naming off their other countries. And that last one that they spelled Iomia, it sounds like they're saying Lemuria. And so they're bringing her in. Where are you going to bury your heart? However, only embalmed body lies in the imperial crypt in Austria. Her heart stays in Switzerland. Is that legal?
Whatever that means.
Would have been better if the sound was there. Now, there is no way. Let me check this here. That light is on. I want to check it again. Give me un momento. I'm not going to bother pulling us up. Come on, audio. We'll try, that's what's weird about it is I can hear it, but they're not showing it. So what is this guy yakking about? It's social Darwinism, the Gilded Age. The economy doubled, but it was like, oh no, only 1% got all the money.
Mm-hmm.
Was this before the reaping or after the reaping? Or are there resets inside the reaping era? Because RJ, something happened. They left all these factories. They lobotomized everybody. They had people brainwashed into hitting the beach and dying for their country to save rubble buildings that needed to be rebuilt. so they could still forge to make metal planes out of aluminum? What the hell?
Well, yeah, you need to go with the methods that are proven effective. Yeah.
They don't get they're not the 1%. I'm going to, even if that is a staged photo. So even back then, it was the masses holding up. These are the same people that are rich today. And the same Habsburg queens having their, their weird rituals. Nice job, man. But a handy woman is always nice helper to have. That Gilded Age was just bad. I'm not so sure that the robber barons were the good guys. And then what a coincidence. In 1859, right at the start, the Civil War started because Lincoln was elected in 60. So this book comes out right in that era. They fake freeing the slaves, and the rest of it has been a racist history covered up by women saying, forget the blacks. We're the ones that have suffered at the hands of these men for so long. Well, they just chased skirt and kept us at home, poisoning them one at a time to get to where they are now. The majority college graduates and the majority of the people who have the power behind the throne. Hand that rock to cradle. But guys can pretty much put up with anything. And there are women that love them.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, women, yeah, but it doesn't take them long to figure out that, you know what? They're even classifying white people as undesirable too. That sucks. What do you mean I'm not white enough? Yeah, you got some Irish. What? Come on. No wonder they're mad. This is what I watched. I guess we can't watch too much of the orbs and the stuff like that. This guy, the takeaway on this one, RJ, is that people are just confusing them. Now, I listened to part of this, and the girl was questioning him pretty hard. Like, can you make that make more sense? And he's explaining, well, we're looking at the footage that these people are taking, and there are some mysterious drones, but there's also a lot of things that are airplanes and other things that they're just confusing. There's nothing to worry about here. And they asked, the reporter said, well, have you looked at your own footage? Have you bothered to take any footage of your own and look at these drones? And he said, oh, no, we have not had any government footage that we can review on our own yet, but we're still processing the thousands of leads that we have. How hard is it, RJ, for them to just get out a camera, one of those things that they can take a picture of the moon of, and say, let's put it on a drone and now we'll know?
It's probably easier to ignore it or, shrug it off.
The mainstream certainly is making it seem like the people of New Jersey have a history of the War of the Worlds. Oh no, it's aliens. They're just crazy. I don't know. I saw something about like this girl in a video, and she's supposed to be the most evil person that ever lived. And somehow she worked or slept her way to the top too. Let's just, that you don't get much on Wikipedia about that. To her, she just was a handmaid. Was she evil or good? Anyway, these other people are going like, she's bad. So I guess I could have looked through my history for it. If anybody wants to see how bad she was, so I studied her. She was bad. Looks like her mom was bad too. These Somersets, we got to watch out for them. And Worcester. I wonder if they
Like
call
mother, like daughter.
that Worcester, like mother, like daughter. Yeah. Oh, they're one of these people that are in with. Whenever you see Edward de Vere, you know what he's always accused of? Writing the Shakespearean plays. They accuse him of being the person that forged the Shakespearean plays. I wonder if there's any mention of that here. Yeah, yeah. See, these people today they got it all figured out. They don't realize that they're helping me and everything else, that all of the crap was faked, by that guy De Vere. Dropping codes in the Bible and in it again, at the end of, the end of the golden age. Just can't get over this stone, man. And I was going back over the census today, but it's like you got to download these things and go over all these Indian populations and who's getting taxed, and well, are there Japanese, Chinese, and when did they show up? It's fun in a tedious kind of way. The white Negro thing, I mean, it was always such a big deal. And there's so many Black people that were slaves and Negroes that were just, don't drink here and that kind of stuff. So it was just like not fun. I did look up Shabona. I went to in 6th grade in Morris, Illinois, Shabona Elementary School, and at first year that it was made there, and I guess this guy here, it means built like a bear or something like that. Still, things are weird, RJ. And we're just not getting any cooperation. I tried to mix it up, and part of the trouble is, I wanted to get out of the rocking chair for a while. Oh no, Ella Rose, and use this microphone so that I don't like the headset as much, but somehow I'm going to have to work it out to where I get the sound and the audio, but that's about all I got. I basically wanted to update everything I've got to study for a final in the morning. If you're going to be available, I think I'm going to go over my history final and look at, because it's about the Civil War and the fake. Well, it just doesn't make any sense. They're lying.
I'll be busy until 9:30 your time.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. Well, we'll play it by ear. So if you want to hang on, I'd really appreciate it for just a second. I'm going to wrap this up. It's a flat Earth nation. The golden age is past because the mud flood is Armageddon. Me and my friends are never going to tell you anything else. Why would we? We are one called, two chosen, three faithful to having your best interest at heart. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arrivederci. Ciao. Sayonara. Auf Wiedersehen. Nagame. That's how I like to say goodbye.